Okay, everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's Laurie from Quick Scrap Craft, and I'm going to show you the pieces I'm going to be doing for this Freaky Fast Formula Challenge, which is based on the March 2025 Freaky Fast Formula Challenge over at the Scrap Room. So my cardstock base is going to be this almond cream, which is from Basil, and I have two of them because my goal is to actually make this a 2-page layout for all of these photos that I took from Toy Fair back in September 2023. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now I don't know if I'm going to do like a mirror image or something different, but my goal is to do one page first and then kind of see how the second page is going to fit in. So what I have is a 4-inch circle cut out of this American Crafts paper. I have a 10-inch by 1-inch paper strip. Could use either side. I think this is crepe paper. It's double-sided, so right now I'm kind of looking at this, but I could do this. I don't know. This one is, let's see. This one is 4 by 4 3/4, and this one is 3 3/4 by 4.5. Again, this one's double-sided. This, I can't remember. Oh, let's see. This is actually Jen Hadfield, and this is American Crafts, just the printer paper version. And then this one is a double-sided one that is cut to 7 by 9. So I could use it this way, this side, this side. Most likely it'll be this side because that's what I was kind of looking at as I was trying to pick out coordinating papers. And then I have the photos that I want to use, and then I also have this big old pile of potential embellishments that I've already cut. Look at this. I'm so glad that I pulled this and that I saved it and didn't get rid of it because it's going to go with this picture for sure. So yeah, so let's get to it. Okay, so now we get into the actual process of this 2-page layout. Because this is a 2-pager, it's going to take me a little bit longer to complete than just a single page would. So I'm just giving you a heads up. This is the part of the process where I've got to take those pieces that I cut. There's only 4 of them, and I have to figure out how they're, oh no, sorry, there's 5 of them. And then I have to figure out how they're going to work together on the page. So I was really liking that, that paper strip kind of on the side, but I had already done something like that with the last one. So I'm glad that I thought to move it down to the bottom just for something different. And basically, those smaller pieces that I cut are going to serve as mats for the photos. I think sometimes when we are looking at the pieces that have been cut ahead of time, we kind of go, or we tend to try to like create a visual and the photos are going around those pieces, if that makes sense. And I really struggle to be like, oh, wait, no, like I can put a photo on top of this. This doesn't have to be, you know, part of the background. It's going to be part of the photo. So I cut my photos down to go or to fit within the mats of that. So basically whatever those pattern papers were cut, you know, the circle was a 4-inch circle. So I'm cutting my photo down to be a 3.5-inch circle. I just, you know, I cut like just a smidge off of the top and the bottom edges. All right, so here I'm using my Creative Memories circle cutting system to cut my photo down into a circle. And this is what I also used to cut the pattern paper into a circle as well. I think it works really well. I mean, this is not a new product. I've had it for a long time, but I really like that it has that plastic overlay so you can see what size you need and how it's going to fit with the photo size that you have. And then you can kind of line up the stencil piece a little bit easier. And so I've got that done. I'm going to ink the edges of all of these pieces just to make them stand out a little bit more from the almond cream background. Now, this is just the first page. Like I said before, I'm going to make this into a 2-pager. I haven't cut any of the pieces for the 2-page yet, but I wanted to get this first page done so I could have an idea of how it's going to look, and then I'm going to figure out how to do the second side. So leave a comment down below if you think I'm going to do like a mirror image of this, or if you think it's going to be something different. And we'll see once we get to that point. So these are photos that I took back in 2023 when I went to Toy Fair New York. Normally Toy Fair is in the spring, but because of COVID, things got all moved around. And so we had a fall Toy Fair. And these are just pictures from the very first day of all the costumed characters and photo ops that were there at the show. It's a pretty fun show, but at the same time, it's also work. So you're on your feet pretty much all day. It's back-to-back-to-back appointments with these different toy companies. It looks like fun and games, and it sort of is, but it's still work, and it's very tiring, and your feet are killing you by the end of the show. And I'm so glad that it's definitely more of a casual vibe than I guess it used to be in years past, because I cannot imagine walking this show in heels and like fancy clothing. It's a lot. So anyway, and this year I only went 2 days to the show, and that was still like, oh my God. Normally it's 4 days, which is, like I said, a lot. Actually, technically 5, because there used to be stuff going on the day before. So it was just a lot. So anyway, I hope that you guys are enjoying my May personal challenge that I've set for myself, where I'm only doing Freaky Fest formula challenges. I think that these are really fun. Maybe you've heard of them before but never done one. Maybe you've never heard of them before. But I encourage you to check them out, because it's just a different way to scrapbook. It can be challenging, but that's kind of the point. And it's really just fun to see how it all comes together in the end. So I've kind of layered up those 3 photos to sort of create a little triangle, a little grouping of 3. And now I'm going to add in my title and my embellishments. So I'm just kind of carefully placing everything that I have pulled and trying to figure out like what's going to look good where, and also remembering that this is just the first page, so I don't want to use up everything that I've pulled from my stash. I want to save some stuff for the second page, but since I don't know what the second page is going to look like yet, I'm doing the best that I can. So definitely got to get that cool Big Wheels sticker that was from a photo play collection, an old photo play collection. I think it was a boy-themed collection, and so I've had it for a while, and I'm so glad I get to use it with this picture of me on a big wheel, on like a big wheel. And then everything else is just kind of colorful, random. There's a little smiley face from an American Crafts foam thicker sheet. I've got, what else do I have? A big camera from an American Crafts sticker sheet. The title is going to be Colorful Day. Is it a perfect fit for these photos? I don't know, maybe. But there is a lot of color in them. There's a lot of colorful characters and colorful things. And on the second page, I've got pictures of me with Rainbow Brite and standing inside of a Rainbow Brite box. So that's pretty colorful, and I'm not going to worry too much about it. I'm just going to use this pre-made title and make it work for me. Of course, I have to glue it down with a glue stick because the adhesive on it is just not as good as it was, I guess, when the stickers were first made. I think I got that pack at Stamp and Scrapbook Expo in August, and I don't know. Maybe did the stickers ever expire? Like, were these just old stickers and I was buying them and now they don't stick well? I don't know. I don't know how it works, but they're American Crafts, so they're an older American Crafts product. And then they're also from that same sticker sheet, there are these little, I guess they could be crosses or X's depending on how you put them down. So I decided, let's use up the rest of the pieces on that sticker sheet and stick those crosses down as well. So I've got 3 different embellishment clusters, one at the top, one kind of in the middle, and one at the bottom right corner. And it says number 1 down at the bottom because this is the first day of this toy fair, and so that's why it's number 1. Okay, moving on to the second page. So while I had enough pieces of most of the pattern paper to recreate the circle, the 2 kind of rectangles, and the paper strip, I didn't have enough of that plaid paper to do another, 7x9 rectangle. So I was like, I have leftovers of that paper. So instead of cutting that rectangle that same size again, I could just use one of the leftovers. And I'm still, I still have the circle and the 2 other rectangles, but I'm still using that plaid paper. I'm just using it in a different way. So it's kind of going back and forth between doing that or cutting a paper strip, a 10x1 paper strip out of the plaid, and then using the other striped paper it for the 7x9 rectangle. And ultimately I was like, you know what? No, I don't want to do this as a mirror image. I want to do it a little bit differently. And so this is then my way of showing you how you can do a 2-pager that isn't a mirror image, that isn't, what's the word I'm looking for? Where like they're the same thing on both sides. Oh, I cannot think of the word. It'll come to me probably tomorrow. So instead, I am still taking similar sizes, similar shapes from the Freaky Fast Formula Challenge, but this side is definitely adding in a little bit more and kind of going off of the challenge. Now, the only thing I have stuck down so far is that wider strip of the plaid paper, because I was kind of like, I don't want to marry myself too much to this layout. I wasn't sure exactly how to fit all the rest of my pictures in, because if I was only using the circle and the 2 rectangles, that would just be 3 more photos, and yet I had 5 more photos that I needed to get done. So I wanted to keep those pieces not adhered yet until I could figure out how I was going to make everything fit. So essentially for this 4-inch circle and those 2 rectangles, I'm doing the exact same thing that I did on the left-hand side of the page, where I cut those shapes and then I took my photos and cut them just like a smidge, like 1/2 inch smaller to fit and use those pieces as mats. Now what's going to happen here is I'm going to have to figure out how to add the rest of my photos. So this one here, I've got a lot of Squishmallows photos. There were a lot of Squishmallows things at this toy fair. So the top photo is me hugging a giant Squishmallow. The photo in the middle is me on a swinging bench made out of Squishmallows, or at least decorated with Squishmallows. And then there's me with Rainbow Bright. And then there's another one. You'll see in a second, there's another photo of me with a costumed character, Squishmallow, who was walking around the show. So I just needed to figure out which photos could be cut down to go where. Obviously, the Squishmallows chair was a little big, and so I knew I needed to use the bigger mat for that one because I didn't want to cut off too much of the chair. So now I know that I've got those 3 photos done. I got to figure out the last 2. And so here's where I kind of veer off from the original Freaky Fest Formula Challenge. I'm going to add in additional mats. So this side of the page, or this side of the layout, it's going to be a little bit busier than the first side, and that's okay, but I'm still using similar elements. So because I have a circle before, that's with that striped paper, I'm going to do another circle, but I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. So it's not going to be the same size. It's actually going to be 3.5 inches instead of 4 inches. And of course, that stupid red blade screwed up the paper. This is why I need to remember to always cut my paper from the back with this stupid blade, because for some reason the red one just hates going into the grooves and then it tears the paper. And if it's on the front, it's kind of hard to hide. But if it's on the back, it's a little bit easier to hide. So I don't know if you guys have a similar issue, if you own this cutting system and you also have this issue. Just a little heads up. You can't really do it with the photos because you need to see where you're cutting. You can't just turn the photo over and be like, all right, put a circle here, let's cut it out. Then you might cut out into the wrong spot. So the photos are a little trickier, although I haven't had too much problem with the photos. Maybe it's because they're a little bit thicker and the blade with that thinner pattern paper, I don't know. Maybe it just doesn't like that as much. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Okay, so now I got to figure out the very last photo. And originally I was thinking I had leftover pieces of the flower paper and the geometric pattern. I was going to do something like in the bottom left-hand corner. And obviously I still have that 10x1 strip there. I'm like, I would like to include that in some way because I cut it out for this. And that's that's one of the pieces that was part of the original Freaky Fast Formula Challenge. But because I have so many photos going on over on the right-hand side, I was like, you know what? Why don't I just create like a top to bottom structure of 5 photos going on over here? And so that's what I'm going to do. So I cut a smaller mat, or I think I cut the same size mat as the other flower one, and then I'm going to cut the photo down. So I'm going to have 2 of the same pattern papers acting as mats in this, and that's okay. They're going to kind of overlap once I get everything stuck down. But this is the picture of me in the Rainbow Bright box, and I know that I'm cutting the photo down and everything off where you can't see it, but it's a picture of me in a Rainbow Bright box. I think it was the 40th anniversary of Rainbow Bright in 2023, which makes me feel super old because I do remember playing with Rainbow Bright when I was a kid. I think my parents got got me a doll from a garage sale. And I remember there were like these rainbow beads. And I would pretend that they were like magic or something with the doll. I have a vague memory of playing with the Rainbow Bright doll and those beads. I don't think they actually went together, but I made them go together. I don't know. Let me know down in the comments what your favorite toy was when you were a kid. And also, if you're enjoying this video and these challenges that I've been setting for myself the past couple of months, definitely subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on other process videos and other challenges that I'm going to be doing for myself the rest of this year. I would love for you guys to participate in these challenges as well. So tag me on social media if you are also going to be doing a Freaky Fast formula challenge for yourself. I'd love to see what you guys create. You can find me on all my social media channels. At the end of this video, you're going to see a list of where you can find me on social. So definitely follow me there. Like I said, subscribe to the channel and give this video a thumbs up if you are enjoying watching it. So as you can see, I put that 10x1 strip of pattern paper off to the left-hand side. And as I was going through editing the finished photos of everything, I was like, you know what? Maybe I should have put the photos on the left-hand side and the paper strip on the right-hand side. I don't know. I guess it could go either way, and it's really more about what you find aesthetically pleasing. And for me at this moment, this was the aesthetically pleasing design, but I can see it going the other way too. So I don't know. Let me know in the comments which way you would have done it. Photos on the left or photos on the right. But I am really glad that I got similar elements and similar patterns from the left-hand side page to the right-hand side page, and now it's time for the embellishments. So my plan here for this is to have a cluster of embellishments up at the top there, and then have a little embellishment cluster over on that strip. And I have this word that says September that I really want to use. Actually, I have two of them somehow, and so I really want to use that on this layout somewhere. So I'm just going to actually have it go on the paper strip and kind of use that as an anchor for that embellishment cluster. Then I'm going to have another embellishment cluster in the center and then another one down at the bottom right. So kind of making a triangle with some of them, and then we've got this other piece on the other side that we're also embellishing up. This was really for me to use up a lot of the embellishments from my stash. I don't want to be I want to be heavy-handed with the embellishments because I have a lot of cool pieces and I want to be able to find ways to use some of them so I'm not just hoarding embellishments. So what I'm kind of adding in, I'm doing something similar to what I did on the other side where I've got the main pieces or the main items in the embellishment clusters, and then I'm building them out with some gem stickers, some flat stickers from a Vicky Boutin sticker sheet, and some of the puffy American Crafts stickers, the hearts and the X's or pluses, depending on the orientation that you place them. And some of them, yes, do need some Elmer's glue stick to help them stick down. The little sticker there in the center is from Simple Stories, and that's where I'm going to write very quickly some journaling for this page, or for the entire layout, as you can see there. I will go back and add the specific date. I know this was the last day in September, but when I was doing this, I couldn't remember how many days there were in September. I know my husband says there's a song that he learned in school about how many days in each month. I don't know about you guys, but I never learned that song. So I don't know. I always have to look at a calendar to remember. I think there are only 30 days in September. Again, let me know down in the comments how many days are in September to save me some time from having to look it up in the calendar. Not like that's really hard. So I know that this process is very long. I thank you so much for sticking with me. Speaking of sticking, here's where I stick down that September piece, which is from a Simple Stories collection. It's a paper sticker, so it's not super easy to peel up if you were to do so again, which I'm going to do because I realized that I wanted it to be closer to that little embellishment cluster that I was creating. I didn't want to bring the embellishment cluster down because then it would be too close to the one in the middle. So now I've got to very carefully peel up the September word, and it did okay. I think it took off a little bit of the pattern paper underneath it in one spot, but because that pattern paper already had kind of a weathered look to it, no one's going to notice. It's going to be really, and it actually ends up getting covered up anyway, so, whatever. And yes, I did rip the S of September, but I was able to stick it back down and everything was fine. I just wanted these pieces to overlap, but have this still be its own embellishment cluster. And of course, then there's a sticky piece on the side of this little sticker that didn't get peeled off, and I had to go back and peel that off. Anyway, I'm almost done, I swear. And now, except now I've got one of those foam American Craft stickers that are really hard to get the backing off of. So anyway, I swear I'm almost done with this. But yeah, some of these pieces toward the end were really giving me some trouble. But like I said, I'm just building up these embellishment clusters with some extra smaller pieces. You know, those gem stickers, I think I got those gem stickers at Joann's. And then, yeah, I think so. And then I'm just trying to use up other colorful bits from the American Crafts puffy sticker sheet that is in my stash. So again, trying to like do things in groups of threes, even if the main parts of the embellishment clusters are not, I don't have 3 of those items, I'm still trying to keep these smaller pieces, the gem stickers, the flat stickers, the puffy stickers in groups of 3. So here we finally are where both the pages are together. You can see these in a little bit more closer detail. And then the finished 2-page layout is here. Ta-da! So thank you so much for sticking with me to watch this 2-page process video. Follow me on social media and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time.